The silent signal far away from Earth, deep in the quiet darkness of space, the great listening station called Aurora floated. It was Earth's best chance to hear what was happening in the universe. Scientists and soldiers worked together here, watching for any sign of danger or hope. One cold morning, the calm silence broke. A faint sound came through the radios. It was strange, not like any usual noise. The machines beeped softly, catching something that no one had ever heard before. "Sir, you need to hear this," said a young technician, pointing at the screen. Commander Adams stood up quickly. He was the leader of the Aurora station. His face was serious. He walked over and looked at the screen. A soft, repeating message appeared. It was a signal, a call for help. The voice was alien, strange and broken, but clear. It said one thing: emergency ... help ... No one could understand the full message, but the meaning was clear. Someone was in trouble. Commander Adams called his team. "Get the translators. We need to know who is sending this and why." For hours, the team worked hard. The signal was weak and hard to read. It came from a far star system, beyond the known. "Safe zones." The scientists explained. "This is not like anything we have seen before. The message is an SOS, an emergency call, but it is very old and very faint." The military officers looked worried. Captain Jane Carter was called from Earth Command. She was calm and confident, known for making the right decisions in tough times. "Do we ignore this signal?" she asked in the meeting, "or do we answer it?" The room was quiet. Some said it could be a trap. Others believed it was a real cry for help. Jane looked at the star maps. If this is real, and someone is in danger, Earth should help. But we must be ready. The leaders agreed. They decided to send Earth's strongest ships to find the source of the signal. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news spread quickly. People watched the broadcasts, waiting to hear what would happen. Some feared the unknown. Others hoped Earth could make new friends in space. That the fleet began to prepare. At the shipyard, the biggest warships were waking from their long rest. Their engines hummed and their weapons shone. Captain Jane stood on the bridge of the USS Valor, the most powerful ship in Earth's fleet. Her crew moved quickly but carefully. Every person knew the mission was dangerous. "This could change everything," Jane said quietly. "We go not only to help, but to protect Earth and the galaxy." The ships left Earth's orbit and jumped into space. For days, they traveled. Through the cold blackness, the silence was deep. The only sound was the steady pulse of the ship's engines. Suddenly, the communications officer, Lee, called out, "Captain, I am receiving another message from the same source." "It is stronger now." Jane moved to the screen. The message was clearer, but still urgent. "Help us. We are hunted. Danger comes." No one knew who they were. The fleet's course changed, moving closer to the alien system. But not everyone. On the ships was calm. Engineer Marcus was nervous. What if it is a trap? What if this is a trick to bring us into danger? Jane smiled softly. "We must be brave. We don't know what awaits, but we will face it together." That night, as the stars shone outside the ship's windows, the crew tried to rest. But no one could forget the message. Someone somewhere was calling for help. And Earth's most powerful ships were on their way. The silence in space was about to end. Asterisk. The fleet awakens. The USS Valor was not alone. Behind it, 3 other warships powered up, their engines glowing bright blue in the dark space. Each ship was built for battle, fast, strong, and deadly. Together, they formed Earth's most powerful fleet. Captain Jane Carter watched from the bridge of the Valor. The stars outside seemed calm, but inside the ship, the air was thick with tension. "Status. Report. Jane said. Engineer Marcus looked up from his console. All systems ready, Captain. Engines at full power. Weapons armed. Lee, a communications officer, frowned at her screen. I'm still receiving faint signals from that alien system. But there is interference. Someone or something is blocking our messages. Jane's eyes narrowed. An enemy? Or a warning? The fleet's mission was clear. Find the source of the emergency signal and help whoever was in danger. But no one knew what waited for them. The fleet moved faster now, crossing the dark space between stars. The crews worked in silence, each feeling the weight of their task. On the Valor, Jane walked among her crew, giving quiet words of encouragement. Remember, she said, we are the protectors. We answer when others call for help. One young pilot, Maya, smiled nervously. What if they don't want our help? What if this is a trap? Jane stopped and looked at her. Then we will fight. We do not run from danger. Far away on Earth, the leaders watched the fleet leave with hope and fear mixed together. This mission could bring peace or war, said General Harris. We must be ready for both. Back on the fleet, strange things began to happen. Sensors detected an unknown ship moving near the edge of the alien system. It was hidden in the shadows, its shape strange and unfamiliar. Unknown contact, Lee reported. No response to our hails. Jane ordered the fleet to prepare for possible attack. We do not want to fight, she said, but we will protect ourselves. The alien ship suddenly disappeared from the sensors. It was as if it vanished into thin air. Stealth technology, Marcus said. They don't want us to find them. The tension grew. The fleet reached the outer edge of the alien system. Before them lay a vast field of broken ships and floating debris. The battle has already happened, Jane said quietly. Lee received another message. This time, a live video feed from a small drone sent to scout ahead. The video showed a planet, covered in scars, craters, fires, and ruined cities. A voice spoke over the drone's radio. It was weak, but full of fear. Double quotes, help. We are trapped. They come for us. The fleet prepared to enter the system. But just as they moved forward, alarms sounded. Warning. Unknown ships approaching fast, shouted the radar officer. From the darkness, several small, fast ships appeared. They moved like hunters, surrounding the fleet. Enemy attack, Jane ordered. Raise shields. Ready weapons. The battle was about to begin. The silence of space was shattered by explosions and bright flashes of light. Jane took control, guiding her fleet with calm and skill. The enemy ships were quick but poorly armored. Earth's fleet fired carefully, disabling the attackers one by one. Still, more enemies came from all sides. Suddenly, one enemy ship fired a strange weapon, a pulse that disabled one of Earth's smaller ships. Marcus's face went pale. They have new tech. We must be careful. Jane gave a steady order. Pull back. Protect the fleet. We need to find the survivors and get out. But the enemy would not let them leave. The fight raged on. In the middle of the chaos, a small signal appeared on the screen. A faint, hidden message from the survivors. Find the hidden base. Save us. Jane knew they had no choice. Fleet turned toward a small moon nearby. The real mission was about to begin. Asterisk. Shadows in the void. The fleet hovered near the small, rocky moon. Its surface was dark and covered in deep craters. No signs of life showed on the scanners. Captain Jane Carter stood on the Valor's bridge, staring at the screen. We must land, she said. Our mission is to find the survivors and bring them to safety. Engineer Marcus checked the ship's landing systems. The atmosphere is thin but breathable for short time. We can send a team down. Lee sent a message to the fleet. Prepare the shuttle crews. We move in 30 minutes. Below, the alien system was quiet. Too quiet. As the shuttles descended through the thin atmosphere, the moon's surface grew clearer. Strange structures rose from the ground, half-buried buildings, broken towers, and crumbled walls. "Looks like a city once," whispered Maya, the young pilot, scanning with her visor. Suddenly, movement caught their eyes. A shadow darted between the ruins. "Alien life?" Marcus asked nervously. Jane nodded. "Stay alert. We don't know what to expect." The landing team moved carefully through the ruins, following the faint signal. Then, from the darkness, a soft cry echoed. Double quotes, "Help. Please. The team froze. Out of the shadows came small, frightened figures, thin, with large eyes and pale skin. They looked weak and scared. One stepped forward, a young alien child, no older than 10 in human years. Jane knelt down slowly. "You're safe now," she said softly. The child looked up with tears in their eyes. Behind the child, more aliens appeared, survivors hiding underground, afraid to come out. "We found them," Jane said. "The emergency signal was real." But the quiet did not last. Suddenly, loud sounds echoed across the ruins, distant but growing closer. "Enemy ships," Marcus shouted. "They found us." The team rushed back to their shuttles. As they took off, the fleet's radar showed dozens of fast, dark ships approaching from the planet's orbit. "Prepare for battle," Jane ordered. Back on the Valor, Jane studied the enemy ships. "They move like hunters," she said. "This is no ordinary attack." The enemy ships fired powerful energy blasts, hitting the fleet's shields. Earth ships returned fire, but the enemy was fast and hard to hit. Shields failing on USS Guardian. Came the warning. Jane gritted her teeth. "Hold position. We protect the survivors." The battle turned fierce. Explosions lit the darkness of space. The enemy's tactics were cruel. They aimed to destroy, not capture, but Earth's fleet was strong. Using teamwork and strategy, they began to push the attackers back. Suddenly, one of the survivors' leaders appeared on the Valor's communication screen. Her name was Lyra, tall and calm, with eyes full of sorrow. "The enemy is called the Kaloth," she explained. "They hunt us because we resist their rule." Jane nodded. "We will protect you. Earth will not let the Kaloth win." Lyra gave them a warning. The Kaloth have a secret weapon, hidden deep in the system. If they use it, it will destroy everything. Jane understood. The mission had grown bigger. We must find this weapon before it is too late. As the fleet prepared for the next move, Jane looked at her crew. "We are the last hope for these survivors," she said. "And for the galaxy." The silent void of space was no longer empty. Dark shadows moved. The real danger was waiting. Asterisk. The hidden survivors. The small moon was cold and dark, but beneath its surface, a secret world waited. Captain Jane Carter led a team back down to the moon, this time prepared for danger. The survivors had warned them that Kaloth were relentless hunters. The landing team moved carefully through narrow tunnels carved inside the moon's crust. The walls were rough and cold, lit only by the faint glow of their helmets. After what felt like hours, they reached a large cavern. Inside, dozens of aliens huddled together. They were small, thin creatures with soft blue skin and eyes that shone like stars. Among them was the alien child Jane had seen before, now safe in the arms of an elder. Survivors looked tired and scared, but relief showed on their faces. "We are glad you came," said Lyra, stepping forward. "The Kaloth have chased us for years." Jane nodded. "We will keep you safe. Earth's fleet will protect you." But the peace was short-lived. Suddenly, alarms rang through the caves. "Enemy ships are approaching fast," Le's voice crackled over their radios. Jane's heart raced. Prepare for evacuation. The survivors gathered their few belongings. Jane's team moved quickly to lead them out. Outside, Earth's fleet was already engaged in battle. The Caleth ships attacked with fury, firing beams that lit the dark sky. Earth's warships fought back fiercely. Explosions rocked the fleet as ships took damage. Jane gave steady orders. Focus fire on the largest Caleth cruisers. Protect the evacuation shuttles. One of the survivors whispered to Jane, "If the Caleth capture us, they will use us for their experiments." Jane's jaw tightened. "We will not let that happen." As the shuttles lifted off from the moon, Jane stayed behind, coordinating the fleet's defense. The battle grew more dangerous. The Caleth revealed a terrifying weapon, a huge drone that fired destructive pulses, disabling ships instantly. Marcus shouted, "We can't hold them much longer." Jane took a deep breath. "We need to strike back harder. Target that drone." The fleet concentrated their fire. Slowly, the drone's shields weakened. With a final blast, it exploded in a bright flash. The Caleth ships faltered and began to retreat. The survivor shuttles headed toward the safety of the fleet. Jane watched them go, relief mixed with worry. "We've saved them for now," she said. "But the real war is just beginning." Back on the Valor, Jane and her crew prepared for the next move. They had learned that the Caleth's secret weapon was hidden deep in an ancient ruin on a nearby planet. "If we don't find it first," Jane said, "this galaxy will face destruction." The fleet set course for the unknown planet. The journey was quiet, but tension filled the air. Everyone knew what was at stake. Jane looked at the stars beyond the window. The fight for survival had only just begun. Asterisk. The true enemy. The fleet moved through the starry blackness toward the planet where the Caleth's secret weapon was hidden. Captain Jane Carter stood on the bridge of the USS Valor, her eyes fixed on the star map. "This mission is more dangerous than we thought," she said. "We must be ready for anything." Engineer Marcus checked the ship's systems again. "We've repaired the damaged ships, but our supplies are running low," he warned. "We need to move fast." Suddenly, the communications officer Lai received a new message. It was from an unexpected source, a neutral alien race called the Tharak. Their voice was calm but serious. "The Caleth are a threat to all nearby systems," they said. "They want to conquer and destroy." Jane nodded. "We are allies now." The Tharak offered help, a map to the ancient ruins where the secret weapon was hidden. The fleet followed the map carefully, entering dangerous asteroid fields and avoiding hidden traps. As they approached the planet, strange signals jammed their communications again. "Someone does not want us to reach the weapon," Lee said. Then, suddenly, the Caleth fleet appeared, larger and stronger than before. Blocked the fleet's path with massive warships. Jane faced the biggest challenge yet. "We can't fight all of them at once," she said. "We need a plan." The fleet split into two groups. Jane led the first group, trying to distract the Caleth ships. The second group moved quietly to the planet's surface, carrying a special team to find and destroy the weapon. On the planet, the team found ancient ruins covered in strange symbols. "Look at this," said Marcus. "The technology is far older than we expected." As they moved deeper, the air grew colder, and the feeling of danger grew stronger. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Caleth were waiting for them. "Trap!" shouted the team leader. They fought hard against hidden defenders, robotic sentries, and deadly traps designed to stop intruders. Back in space, Jane's group fought a brutal battle. Explosions shook the ships, and lasers lit the darkness. Jane stayed calm, directing her fleet with skill. "Hold the line," she shouted. "We cannot lose this fight." The battle was fierce, but Earth's fleet managed to hold off the Kaloth. On the planet, the team reached the weapon, a massive machine powered by dark energy. "It's worse than we thought," Marcus said. "This can destroy entire planets." Jane's team worked quickly to plant explosives. "Get ready to run," Jane ordered. The ruins shook as the explosives detonated. The weapon was destroyed in a bright explosion. But as the dust settled, Jane saw a new threat on the horizon. A huge Kyleth warship coming to finish the fight. The real war was only beginning. Asterisk turning the tide, the explosion shook the planet's surface, sending dust and debris high into the sky. The secret weapon was no more. For a moment, the fleet and the ground team breathed a sigh of relief. But the battle was far from over. High above, a massive Kelyeth warship loomed like a dark shadow. It was larger and more powerful than any ship Earth had ever faced. Its engines glowed ominously, and its weapons hummed with deadly energy. Captain Jane Carter stood firm on the USS Valor's bridge. "All hands, prepare for the final battle. We fight to protect not just these survivors, but the future of the galaxy." The fleet formed a defensive circle around the shuttles carrying the survivors. Every ship was ready for war. Engineer Marcus worked quickly to boost the shields on the Valor. "We can hold them, but just barely. If this warship hits us with full power, it could tear us apart." The enemy ship unleashed a volley of energy blasts. A fleet's shields flickered, but held strong. Explosions rippled across space. "Return fire," Jane commanded. "Focus on their engines." The fleet's weapons fired with precision. Slowly, the massive warship's engines began to fail. But the Kaloth captain was ruthless. He sent smaller fighter ships in a swarm, trying to break through Earth's defenses. Pilot Maya led the defense, weaving through enemy fire with skill and courage, engaging enemy fighters. She called, "We won't let them through." On the ground, the team hurried back to the shuttles, racing against time. The tunnels shook from distant blasts above. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the caves. Something huge was coming. Koloth war beast, trained for destruction. Jane's team readied their weapons, facing the terrifying creature as it charged. Above, the battle raged. The Valor's shields were weakening, but the enemy warship's engines sputtered and died. "Now," Jane shouted, "fire everything." A final blast from the fleet's combined weapons hit the enemy ship. It exploded into pieces, lighting the darkness with fire. The Kaloth fleet began to retreat. Cheers rose from Earth's fleet, but Jane knew better than to celebrate yet. The survivors were safe, for now, but the galaxy had seen Earth's power. And new enemies would surely come. Jane looked to the stars. This is only the beginning. Asterisk victory and return, the Kaloth fleet was gone. The dark threat that had shadowed the galaxy was pushed back, at least for now. Captain Jane Carter stood on the bridge of the USS Valor, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. The survivors were safe aboard the fleet's ships, and the ancient weapon was destroyed. Earth's most powerful ships had answered the alien emergency call, and they had delivered justice. The fleet began its long journey home. But even in victory, the mood was serious. The galaxy was changing. New alliances had been made, but new dangers were sure to come. In the communication room, Lee sent a message to Earth's leaders. Mission successful. Survivors secured. Enemy fleet defeated. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. People celebrated their brave soldiers and the hope of new friendships among the stars. Captain Jane gathered her crew. "We did what was right. We helped those in need, and we showed the galaxy that Earth will stand strong." Engineer Marcus smiled tiredly. "I never thought I'd see such a battle in my lifetime." Jane looked at him. "This is just the start. The universe is bigger and stranger than we imagined." As the fleet traveled through space, Jane stood before a window, watching distant stars twinkle. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up an unknown signal. A faint pulse from deep space. Lie's voice broke the silence. "Captain, we're receiving." Another message. Its single quotes S. different, more urgent. Jane's eyes narrowed. "Prepare the fleet. Whatever this is, we will face it together." The stars stretched endlessly before them. Earth's most powerful ships were ready, and the story was far from over. Asterisk.